Welcome back to another edition of Fly Tying with Jim Misiura. Today I'm going to tie a fly that I saw on Facebook, and this was from the Ludlow Fly Tying Club. Very nice. I like this, and this is going to be an olive, a merger, dun. They really didn't name the fly, but they did put the recipe there. So I'm going to tie this. It's kind of almost like a clink hammer, but I'm going to use a Lively Legs lip splitter fly hook number 470. It's a Scud shrimp hook, and this is one extra strong and one extra short. But since this is a dry fly, you might want to use a lighter wire Scud hook. I'm going to use Hemingway's olive thread. This is just 6/0, and tying this in smaller patterns, you might want to get down to a smaller thread, an 8 or a 10 or even all the way down to a 16. But we're going to start this thread behind the eye, and we're going to come back about 1/4 of the way. And that's where we're going to put our wing. I'm going to lift that up just a little bit more so I have a more level area there to tie. And for the wing, I'm just going to use Compara dun deer hair. It's a nice one. I'm going to use this dark deer hair because the olives have dark wings. A lot of times the wings almost appear black. But I'm going to take a bunch of that. And remember, you're only using the tips. So you actually have to actually have a pretty good bunch because of the fact that you're just using the tips. Because they get pretty thin at the tips. And we're going to go ahead and trim this off. I'm going to pull some of the loose stuff out. I'm going to take this is the flea and tick comb, and I'm going to clean out any of the short or loose fibers in there. We'll go ahead and put this in the hair stacker. And we'll go ahead and stack that. And as always, I lift the tube some and tap that down more. And then when we take it out, we're going to have a little bit extra to grab onto, and I'm taking it out in the position or in the direction that I'm going to tie it to the hook. And that's going to be it. And we're going to tie this in right on top, right there. This is a size 16, so we're going to go ahead and take a loose loop, bring it around and pull it straight up. We'll do that again, pull that straight up, and maybe a third time. Then we can give it a couple of cranks, a couple of tighter ones, and if it goes and spins around on you, not a big deal. Secure that. Then we're going to trim this off. I'm going to trim it at an angle. Trim that at a bit of an angle there. Let's see where the position is. That's pretty good. Let's see if I can push that up there a little bit. There we go. And we're going to go ahead and secure it further. And you can see it's turning there. Like I said, still not a big deal. And trimming that at that angle helps to give you the taper on the body. as we come back, I'm going to go ahead and reposition that hook because it being a Scud hook. There we go. Now I'm going to take a piece of pearl crystal flash, just a small piece, and I'm going to fold it over to 2. And we're going to tie this in for the tail or for the shuck. You just need it to be maybe 1/4 the length of the body, which what is hanging off. We'll give that a couple of wraps. Then I'm going to take a fine green wire. It's a very fine one. And we're going to tie that in. We're going to tie this in. Just make sure that the tag end doesn't go too far up the taper. You know, you want everything to be like a smooth going right through. We'll go ahead and trim off that excess there. And then we're going to make the body, and the body is just going to be our olive thread. And we're going to clean things up. I see a little spot right there where there's hair sticking out still. And we're going to bring that up, back up almost to the wing. And we can take our rib and wrap that. Make sure our tail doesn't get wrapped with it. There we go. And we're going to take maybe 3 wraps. 1, 3 or 4, 3, and a half. We'll go ahead and tie that off. Yeah, break that off. Now I'm going to bring the thread up in front of the wing. Then we're going to stand that wing up. We're going to wrap that thread really close. Actually, I'm touching the wing. You can see a couple of hairs getting pulled up front. Just to stand that up. I'm going to reposition this just a little bit more. There we go. Just to get that on the level. And those couple of hairs, I'm going to grab my wing and my thread and hold that out of the way. And just take the lighter quickly and give that a couple of seconds worth of flame there. There we go. Just clean that up. Get that thread nice and close. You can take that wing and make that little bit of a Compara done style. Now, I'm going to, the way they described it on the page was to use the split thread method. I don't do that. I take my dubbing loop and make a loop. And I want to bring that behind the wing because I want to get a wrap behind the wing. And I'm going to bring the thread back forward. 1 second. I got a couple hairs. There we go. And you want to leave your thread about halfway between the eye and the wing. Get this unraveled there. Okay, I have that opened up. I'm going to put some wax on the thread. Now I'm going to take a small CDC feather, and I'm using a dark one. Just, you don't need much, just a small one. And these are too big. Or, yep, there's a little one. A nice little one there. And we take that CDC feather. I'm going to hold the tip and I'm going to run my fingers back. We'll put that on the dubbing block, right on the crack on the dubbing block, and then you take your bodkin needle and we're going to push that down inside, and this is what you're going to have. Now I'm going to take a small amount of hair mask, leave them guard hairs in there, and I'm going to put that right alongside with that CDC. Kind of marry them together a little bit there. And we'll take our clip and take that out, and here's what we're looking at. Then I'm going to trim the stem off the CDC, and here we go. We'll take this, I'm going to open that dubbing loop up with my finger, we'll put the clip inside, slide it off, and then release the clip. I'm going to move my bobbin out of the way. And now I have a dubbing whirl, so I'm going to grab the thread here and I'm going to give it a spin. And then when I let go of the thread, it's going to create a nice little dubbing loop there. Take something and brush that out just a little bit because you kind of want it like a hackle. And this loop is going to be a little bit too much, so we're going to just put a couple of turns on there. Once, get nice and close, twice, and then maybe I'll give it the third one on the back. Then we're going to tie that in. Take your cuticle trimmer, poke and snip, trim that. Now we can clean up and tie off that head. Take our whip finish, hook over the thread around the camel hump, bring it back, invert it, out of the camel hump, pull it, and take the hook out, tighten it up, poke and snip. Now we can, because you got some real long ones and things there, we can go ahead and pluck them or give them a trim. This is gonna, those guard hairs and that CDC is gonna kind of look like legs or just pulling out of the shuck. Take that and spread that out like a Compara down a little bit more. Okay, I'm gonna clean my dubbing brush off really well. Put some on the head. And do yourself a favor and run a feather through the eye. And as soon as I see it here, there we go. Pull that feather through the eye and you know it's cleaned out. Nothing worse than being on stream and not able to get your leader through. Now that tail, let me turn that a little bit. Just to get that tail to the correct size. Go ahead and snip that a little bit. It was a little long. Snip that a little shorter. And here we have a nice little olive. You can tie this down as small as you'd like. It's going to be a nice little olive emerger. That wire is going to help hold that, going to help bring that body down in the water a little bit. And you got your crystal flash for your shuck, like an air bubble or whatnot. But this is an olive from the Ludlow Fly Tying Club. Thank you very much. And I know that this is going to be a good fly, especially in the smaller sizes, 16, 18, 20 even. So I hope that you learned something from this video. Hope that you would subscribe to my channel. If you do subscribe, please hit the notify button so you don't miss any of my videos. Leave comments, questions, suggestions. Please visit my sponsors. Let them know that I sent you. If you'd like to purchase any flies from me, go to etsy.com/shop/theflymanjim. And if you don't see it there on my page, just simply send me a message. Tell me what you're looking for. You can send me a picture, describe it. We'll figure things out. And most of all, thank you very much for watching my videos.